All right, we are back. Another episode. I got a special guest with me today. Uh, very very special guest. I'm glad that he's on. He's on here. Um, he's a motivational speaker, life coach, author, probably some more things. But I'm glad he's with me today, giving me a little bit of his time. Mr. Larry Lawton, what's up, man?
Hey, Jared, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, it's funny you said that. Motivational speaker, YouTuber. Now I actually got my next book coming out, so that's pretty good.
That's
And
cool.
it's a cookbook.
A cookbook.
And what else? I did so much stuff, man. I stay busy, that's for sure.
Right,
And
right,
I travel all over, but I love doing podcasts. I think people can get a more in-depth look at somebody, and
right,
it can. And I think it's a way of the future. I think it's still at its infancy stage. You know,
right.
And I just like YouTube. A lot of people think, wow, YouTube's taking over. TV's no more. You probably don't watch TV, you know?
Actually, I do.
Oh, do you? Do you actually go have a cable?
Yeah, so man, I be watching ratchet shit, man. So I watch TV all the time.
I don't, it's funny. I don't watch any TV. I mean, sports or something, but I really don't. There's no shows I like. I used to like TV and stuff, but
Right,
when you're on the go a lot, you hit YouTube, you can, get what you want, you get it right away. And,
right.
and it's just so much easier for me. It really is. So,
Yeah.
and most people under 50 literally don't have cable anymore.
Oh, I
They
believe
might have
that.
Hulu, they might have Netflix and,
Hmm.
some of those pay stations, but they don't buy cable. Cable's outdated. It's expensive. I mean, why get it?
Yep. Most people just get internet, and like you said, people get screaming shit. But
Streaming.
but once again, man, I'm glad that you're here with me, man. Um, Now let's go back for a second. Now you are a true bred New Yorker, right?
Born in the Bronx, then moved to Brooklyn. We were big time. Then I got into the gangster life and all that. But I'm born and raised in New York City and moved out when I went in the military. Actually,
Right.
so
And, they,
yeah.
and
So
even when I
talk
met
about.
you, I could tell. When I met you weeks ago, I could tell you was a New Yorker because that dialect is thick, man.
People tell me that, Derek, but I don't see it anymore. I've been out of New York for so long. I live in Florida,
Right.
and I don't see it, of course. But people say, "Oh my God, right away, you're from Brooklyn or you're from New York." I guess you do. I mean, I don't see it. But
Like me, I played college ball and I had teammates from Ohio, Philly, um, all over up there, New York, and they said I sound very country. Now I don't know if I still have it. I can't tell, but they were telling me that I was very country, and
what,
it's
what,
just
what, what, who'd you play for, Jack?
I went to a school called Clinton College. It's an HBCU outside of Charlotte. It's in Rock Hill, South Carolina.
Oh, okay, Charlotte. Yeah, I was in South Carolina prison. I
Yep,
was in
I remember
Edgefield.
that. Yeah, we actually go get to that, but yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, you're playing ball. You're a good athlete. Any kind of college. I played a little high school, all that kind of stuff. Nothing major.
what you play
I was a
football?
good athlete.
You play
The
football?
what?
I said you play
Yeah, I played a
football.
little football. I was a fighter. I was a boxer
Okay.
and a wrestler, boxer, and I did all that way back. My age. I'm an old man now, man. Jack. I'm 62.
Yeah,
So
I had a
and,
best friend that was a wrestler, man, and he came home for the summer, and I said, "Damn, dude, like you skinny as hell now." I was like,
yeah.
"What y'all
Well,
doing?"
I tell you what, Jared. I wish that could be me, but uh, I can. I'm too big yet, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
And as long as you feel good, you're living your life, you're happy, or whatever it is.
and
That
go to
that
the
is important.
doctor, man. Some people don't get checked because black folks especially don't like going to the doctor. I don't like going, but I gotta
That's true.
go.
I don't either though. I don't know if it's a northern thing or what. Jared. I hate doctors. I don't go to them. I think the whole medical industry is a lot of bullshit, but it is what you need it. Obviously,
Right,
it's life.
right.
But I'm not one of these guys that go. I don't go every time I'm sick. I don't go every ache and pain. I golfed today. Then I went to dinner. Then I had a meeting, and I'm hurt, and my back hurts and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to do the things you love to do.
Right. You're right. Now, you said you was in the Coast Guard, correct?
Yes, I'm retired Coast Guard.
Oh, retired
I
Coast
went
Guard.
in.
Okay.
Yeah, I went in 1979.
Okay.
I got hurt in 84. Was
Mm-hmm.
retired in actual 86. Retired with a medical disability for my back.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been retired since 1986. That goes to show you how old I am.
Like, oh,
So
79, 80s. I'm doing my calculations right now.
I've been
Okay.
retired for
Okay.
38,
You been
30.
37,
Yeah, I've been
37,
retired
38.
since 86, so 37 years.
Yeah, that's my brother's age. So that's probably how I knew that pretty quick. But yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I think for the Coast Guard, because I know Coast Guard look different from everybody else. Do y'all come when national disasters is going on, correct?
No, Coast Guard really handled only the main job, especially when I was in, was search and rescue.
Okay.
And anything on the water, during time of war, the Coast Guard actually goes on. I don't know if it's anymore, but back when I was in, they'd go under the Department of Navy, and we'd help with the Navy, doing all ocean stuff. I was on a big ship actually out of Hawaii. That's where I got hurt, and I got hurt in Alaska. We used to, you ever watch the show Deadliest Catch?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
We used to rescue those boats all the time.
Oh wow. Okay. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, that's what they do. Mostly Coast Guard does search and rescue. They do drug interdiction and stuff like that.
Right.
But that's not that now, though. Actually, they're under the Department of Homeland Security.
Okay.
So they do they secure the oceans and the border along the oceans.
So like, did your parents drive you to do that, join the Coast Guard, or you was like, I gotta do something?
You said it, man, Jared. I gotta say, I was a bad kid,
Right.
And back in my day, it was, they gave you an option. You're gonna go to jail, you're gonna go to the Coast Guard or military. They called it the military, and you had to go take a test, and you had to enlist and stuff like that. Listen, I went in when I was 17, and I like I said, I was in the Bronx. It was rough. It was, we were street kids. You know what I mean? We didn't have anything going for us. I wasn't a school guy. And although now I have a law degree, but it's, I'm still not a school guy. It's a piece of paper. Right. I think it's all hype. I think don't get me wrong. You need education. Obviously, you got to be able to read. You got to be able to communicate. You got to be able to do basic stuff at least. But a lot of times, if you look at your richest guys in the world, most of them quit college.
Absolutely.
You could talk. Yeah, Bill Gates and Steve Jobs and all those guys that were around, they quit college. You gotta remember the way.
But that had their parents was kind of set too, though. So I mean,
no, not a lot of them. I mean, a lot of them, like Steve Jobs, wasn't. A lot of them, I wouldn't say they were set. Listen, I always love the fact that anybody with their brains, and you could take the president of the United States, right. Bill Clinton. Right. Bill Clinton was beaten by his drunk father. Obama, great president. And what was he? He was raised by his grandmother. You know what I mean? So a lot of these guys didn't have anything, and they fought through adversity. All the odds against them. And look at them, Rhodes Scholars from Yale and Oxford and shit. You know what I mean? You're talking about they're amazing. Those two presidents are the best speakers I've ever heard. I mean, actually. Portators, unbelievable.
They have some big words. I'm like, how you spell that? Let me look that shit up.
Yeah,
because I'll be like,
I just try to get it in the context.
Because I'd be like, what the hell he just said? That's a big ass word. So but that's pretty cool.
Absolutely, though, man. You're talking really, Jared. You're talking about some of the obviously how do you say greatest, the best people. Listen, they went on to be president of the United States, and they were. Bill Clinton was beaten by his drunk father, Obama by his grandma. I mean, forget some of them, golden spoon, all that kind of stuff.
Well, actually, it was Bill Clinton's stepfather.
Who?
It was Bill Clinton's stepfather that used to beat him.
Oh, was it his stepfather? Okay,
stepfather, yeah.
I know it was one of them. Yeah.
His dad died. Yeah. His dad died before he was born.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I knew it was one of them, but he didn't have, it was an alcoholic, I think, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes. And his brother got into that shit, whatever.
Right. Roger Clinton, right? Exactly.
Right. So, that's just how it is.
I always look to those stories, Jared, and say, listen, I tell young people today, if I can do it, you can do it. You know, I don't come from a rich family. I don't do anything of that. You know, I work hard. I love it. I play hard. But you keep, listen, I believe in playing hard, but I also believe in working hard. You know, when you have responsibilities, you do them. And if you don't, then you're lacking in the drive it takes to be successful, whoever it is. You know, I don't care who it is. I don't care what people do. I don't care, I was talking to a young kid. He's now very successful. He opened a lawn service. I helped open a lawn service company. He's got one of the biggest lawn services in South Florida.
Wow.
And because he works, he has vision. He works. He comes home at night. He doesn't just go to bed. He literally, the guy is working. I get it. I get it. And I think it's the drive more than anything, Jared, that people don't get. You know, if you keep doing something, I don't care if you keep doing something over and over, you're going to get good no matter what what it is, and no matter what. And most people, Jared, quit when they're right at the door of success. That's just facts. It's not me saying it. That's not anybody saying it. What is that? Let me just open this vent.
All right.
Okay. Whew. It's actually hot in this office now.
Oh yeah, I'm good. Now,
I love this weather.
Yeah, well, you in Florida, man. That weather perfect down there, bro.
Yeah, well, you're in South Carolina, right?
No, I'm in Atlanta.
Oh, Atlanta. That's right.
I'm from South Carolina, but yeah.
I just was with, like I said, I just interviewed Ned Luke from GTA. And
the new one, or the old?
Ned Luke was the guy Michael DeSantis in GTA 5.
Did I play? I'm trying to think that I played 5. I'm ready for 6 though. Did I play?
6 just came out. You know?
Yeah, I saw the trailer.
I just did a review on that trailer. You know, let me tell you, that trailer had 20 million views in 30 minutes.
God damn.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Man, that game, I hope it got strong servers, bro. That shit gonna.
Obviously that game is amazing. It's not coming out until 2025.
Right. Well, maybe later than that, because Rockstar be tripping, man.
They be tripping. You are 100% about that.
Reason why I know, because my best friend here in Atlanta used to go to SCAD, and SCAD is a gaming type of college, and he always give me the intake on video games all the time. And I said, man, I asked him 3 years ago, man, I was like, man, what's up with the GTA? He always say, he was like, man, Rockstar ain't leaking shit. Rockstar ain't doing this. Rockstar ain't doing that. I think the company that kind of runs it is called Take-Two Media. And I don't know if you know this or not, but and I could be wrong. I think it's Take-Two Media. But Take-Two Media, they're trying to change the way games are played. They're trying to change it to where you pay on an hour base to play. So, prime example, me and my homies, we play NBA 2K every night, every single night. And so we play every single night. And so with us playing, they want to do something like you have to pay on an hour basis. So you pay like $50 an hour just to play, because they feel like you own it all day. So we should be couping that money from the product that we got out. I think it's bullshit, because we bought the game. We got a Xbox or PlayStation account, so that's $25 a quarter. We buy updates. We're gonna buy virtual coins on there. So I'm like, what the hell? Like, if they do that, gaming is dead. I don't know if you heard about that or not, but look that shit up, man.
I'm gonna look that up. Yeah, I can't see them doing that. I really can't.
Really? You don't think so?
No, you know what it is, Jared? Gaming is so big. I do commercials for some companies.
Right.
I'm an actual character in Prison Architect, the game. I spoke to the owner of that company, billionaire. He actually paid, does commercials with me. And I will tell you what, man, if they did anything like that, first of all, it's a lot of young kids that play it. So you're going to get kids who don't have jobs. The parents aren't going to let them have it. You're going to lose all that. And what you lose, and where they really make money, is the data that they collect. Just think of the data, back end, how much you use, what you like, your information, where you're at, your age. I mean, it's amazing, the data and everything. Everybody knows Google's the YouTube, Google. They're so big because they own all the data. Look at Amazon. You buy something from my Amazon. You know what happens? I get 20 ads for something else just because I bought that. I mean, they know what you do, man. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
And they scare me, Jared, because I don't like mother government knowing what the fuck, is going on. I
Right.
just don't like that. I think it's wrong. But you know what? You can't fight it, man. You can't. You could. What are you going to live on? Out where Ted Kaczynski lived in Montana, in a mountain,
Right.
off the grid. Can't happen.
Yeah, I agree. Let's switch gears for a second. Now, I remember when we met, I was talking to you about some of your endeavors back in the day.
Oh.
And I hate to do this, but I gotta know. I just have to know. Who came up with the ideas of some of y'all, or some of your, I guess, like, well, let me go back for a second. Did you ever have like a fascination with like jewelry?
With what? With what?
With jewelry, like jewelry, jewelry.
No,
you didn't.
Not at all. Matter of fact, I don't wear jewelry much at all.
Right.
I used to wear a lot of it because I was doing it.
Right.
I brought so much money in it. My first robbery was a setup. The owner of the jewelry store wanted to get insurance money, and it was a setup. The whole thing was set up. He knew.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I made $150,000, and he got his insurance money, and he had like fake receipts, so he got way more than what was robbed. So that was my introduction into the jewelry business, a setup with the mob. Then I said, Joe, wait a minute. I like this. This is easy. I still think you can do it. Because the setup wasn't just given to me. The setup was, he told me where it was. He told me how many employees would be there. He told me no mail was coming. I knew all the particulars to do it as a real robbery. He didn't even know when. And he had to do that, so he can't, no matter what happened.
So he wasn't there.
No, he wasn't there. There was one employee. That's it. And I knew that. And I knew where the high-end jewelry was in the store. I knew what was in the store. Like, I knew that no cops were, coming by. I knew the mailman didn't come at that time. I knew he never got deliveries at that time because he told me. So, or he told somebody else, and it was all set up through the whole thing. So after that, though, Jared, I said, wait a minute, there's a lot of money. I didn't hurt people in these robberies.
Oh, no, I already seen I seen a little bit of your story of it. Yeah, I already seen a little bit of story.
And I'll tell you what, I saw this as, whoa, there's a lot of money here.
So it was quick. So it was quick money for you.
Quick? Are you kidding me? You're making $400,000 a clip. I'm making my end. You get about 30% on the dollar. So you rob $1 million, you get $350,000, $400,000.
Right.
You're like, wait a minute. This is good. So I don't think I ever walked out of my end on the 200, 150,
right.
200. And I had a crew that did the things. You pay them 20, 30,000 each, and then you pay up to the top to the mobsters. And before you know it, you're saying, wow, took me a couple of weeks. I'm off the grid. Back then there was no cell phones like there are. This is in the 90s and early 90s.
Right.
I remember I had a cell phone back in the early 90s. I had one that looked like a walkie-talkie and over the shoulder. Then I had these things.
You had that big ass look like a boombox shit.
Yeah, that brick shit. And then we had that. Oh my God. The Motorola's, the Motorola's.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I could have did a commercial for them. I could have beat somebody and make a phone call because they're big brick,
Right.
But so I look at that, Jared, as I was an opportunist, if you want to call that, with crime. I grew up in crime, and that's what you did. I tried to get away from it when I went to the service, but when I got out of the service, I was right back into it. I went right back to New York, and that's just the way it was. I'm not giving excuses. Like I said, what I did was wrong. I know that. I'm not an idiot.
Yeah.
I never try to promote that or say, oh, that's the way to go. It's not. I lost my family. I lost all my money. I lost everything. I was in prison for 12 years.
Well, I did read one of your quotes when you said, I could be paraphrasing, but one of your quotes, you were saying that you regret your time in prison because you missed out on a lot of your kids' stuff. And you missed out on your grandparents and your father and stuff like that. So I read that quote from you, and it was a very genuine quote because I had a couple of people that was in jail that I knew, and man, that shit hit, man. That shit just don't feel good.
You know what it is, Jack, and there's no one to blame but yourself. You know, I never went there. Oh, where I grew up. Oh, they got, you know, they listen. I was a criminal. They caught me. I went to prison. I stood. You know, I wouldn't rat. I don't believe in that.
Right.
I think a person's word means everything in life. Period. So I look at that, Jarrett, and say, you know, it hurts because I went to prison. My daughter was 15 months old. I got out and she was 13. My son was 7, just turned 7. I got out and he's 18. I lost all those years, literally, whatever you wanted to. My dad, I got out, I'm changing his diaper. He had Alzheimer's. And I was very close with my dad, you know, and then he died. Matter of fact, I'm in Florida, Jared, because I take care of my mother will be 91. So I take care of her now.
Okay.
And that's why, you know, I'll do it till I die, you know. I mean,
right.
But I lost out on all it's not even the money, Jared.
Those were sweet years though. Cause think about it. And I thought about this today. You went in there, what, 96, right?
I went in at 34 years old and I got out at 46 years old.
Now think about the years though. Think about the year. You got out in 2007, right? 2007,
Yep.
right? Think about what changed from 90, what you went, 96, I think?
Yeah,
96 to 96 to 2007. Check this out. You probably never thought about this, but I'm gonna tell you something. 96, right? You went in when Michael Jordan won that title. You came out, the iPhone just came out.
The iPhones weren't out yet.
Yo, iPhone 3 came out in 2007.
Oh, is that when it came out?
That's when it came out.
Flip phone, the Razor flip phone.
Right, but the iPhone 3, because my best friend had it as a senior in high school. The iPhone 3 came out in 2007. Wow. Think about that. You went in there with no cell phone, even if it was a damn midget in a damn pocket, and now you come out this bit smaller than your hand.
You know, I said this, Jared. I got out of Forest City, Arkansas in 2007, and I wanted to take a bus ride home, you know. Mm-hmm. I was on Con Air 16 times. I've been, you know, in cuffs and shackles and all the planes and shit. And I wanted to take a bus. And I got on the bus and I'm like going like this, like I'm crazy, Jared, because I was always in shackles, you know, and that kind of stuff.
Oh, man, yeah.
So I sit next to this lady, young girl, and she's got a Razor flip phone. And I don't know what it is. And I said, hey, can I look at that? She's looking at him. Now, think of how that sounds if some dude said to you, hey, can I see your phone? What the fuck are you? Anyway, she gives me the phone, and I'm looking. I said, how can these fat fingers touch these little buttons? Right. You know, I closed the phone because it's a flip phone. She's looking at me like, I'm crazy. I must have looked crazy getting out of prison after 12 years. And I end up, she got up the next stop, and I had my seat to myself the whole way. But you said it. The technology boom with the internet. Even the internet was nothing. You had AOL.
Man, I was bootlegging albums then, bro. I was bootlegging Kanye's and Jay-Z's and like everything.
How old are you, Jarrett?
I'm 34.
You same age as my son.
34. Yep.
Yep. You were 7. You were born in 89?
Yes, sir.
My son was born in 89. Just turned 34.
Yep. I'm a Gemini. So I'm actually born on Juneteenth, actually.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Oh, he's born November. He just turned 34. Yep. He's born in 89. And I look at that and I go, first of all, wow. I mean, you know, you're getting older. I look at him, I say, you know, guys that work for me are younger.
Right.
And my son's like old, you know what I mean? Like, I think you tech-wise, you know, you've seen a lot.
Oh, yeah.
You grew up in the YouTube era, the Vine era,
Actually, we grew up more in the MySpace area.
MySpace, right.
I had my first Facebook in 2007. It just got public. My best friend, my old teammate was just in college. He came back home. He was like, hey, man, I'm going to set you up a Facebook page. I was like, what? What's that? Like, what's kind of? I didn't know what it was. I'm sitting, I'm like 17, like, what the hell is Facebook? And he was like, look, we do this in college, blah, 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 blah. So I'm messing around with it. And this is a strange story. But people always ask me why my Facebook name is different from my regular last name, right? I said, well, when I first started Facebook, they wouldn't let me put my last name on there. And I was fumbling with it. I was like, why did they let me do it? And I said, hey, man, come here for a second. I told my friend, come here for a second. He was like, what? I said, dude, won't let my name get in there. And he said, man, it's your last name. I said, it's my last name, though. He was like, they think it's some sexual content. So I had to change it.
What is your last name?
Swinger.
Oh, yes.
And I was just like, no way. And so
That is funny. That is funny.
yeah.
You know, obviously, you know, the changes you've seen. I mean, me, forget it. I remember no cable TV. I remember when they only had 7 channels in New York City. So
Right.
I mean, I look at myself, I go, damn, I sound like the old people. I remember my mother. I remember no TV, and they had phone, you know, they had no phones. They had a community phone.
Now they got smartphone home phones.
Oh, unbelievable what they got today. You know, I mean,
it's crazy.
I got my mother an iPhone. She 90 years old. She's the only one who's got an iPhone 10, 90 years old. She don't know how to use it, but she can talk to it.
I could barely. Yep, that's the new thing. You can just talk about. You can just talk to it these days.
Yeah,
that's the new thing.
That's what makes it easy, Jared. That you know, my mom, of course, doesn't know technology.
Right.
I mean, I remember myself. I remember black and white TV. So it's like holy, and that I mean, it probably came out before I was born. It did. I was born in '61. But we didn't have it. I remember we had a black and white TV. I remember when we got the first color TV. Yeah, I'll tell you a funny story.
Go ahead.
People, what do you remember the remote controls? I said, listen, I remember the first remote control. And they go, what was it? My father hit me in the head saying, change the channel. That's that remote.
Right. That's so true. That's so true. Oh my God.
And I look now, Jared, like, are you kidding me? Like, it, you know, the whole entire, how do you say, the system, the world,
right.
Where's it going to go? You know, I sit here as a guy, I'm 62, and I look and I say, what I saw, because I remember the war, 92, in 1992, the first Iraq war. I mean, all of a sudden on TV, it came where they were putting bombs into chimneys, into windows. It was like, holy shit, nobody knew this technology was there. That's 30 years ago. What kind of technology do they have now? I mean, the shit we don't know.
Man, this AI taking over, bro.
Oh, AI is amazing. I think that's unbelievable. But I was talking to a guy who works down here at one of the Defense Department, you know, like contractors. I think Harris or one of them. He says, Larry, they have technology now that they can see through a wall. I go, what? I go, what are you talking? He goes, they have a headset. It's through satellite, through this, through everything. There could be a guy on the other side, and they can look at the wall and see him and what. I go, what the fuck? I mean, when you think what is happening out there today, Jared, it boggles my mind. And as a dude who I like technology, I mean, I'm in it with YouTube and sometimes it can overwhelm you. Obviously, you got to get away. You got to go out, get to the pool, go vacation, do something, get away from the world. You know,
right?
You're gonna fucking you get so consumed, and I do. To this day, I have to get away. You do too. Anybody, no matter what life, you have to get away and clear your cobwebs.
You got to. You got to.
It consumes you.
Right. Now, I know you did time at if I'm saying it right, at Rikers Island, correct?
Yep, I did time.
Now let me ask you a follow-up question. Then I'm gonna let you go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Now, because reason why I asked that is because I see like movies like Lockdown that Master P made. I seen like Oz back in the day when it was I think it was the first HBO series ever. I often wonder, was prisons, especially like Rikers Island, was there any similarity to those? Because I hear that jail is probably the most like corrupted, disgusting jails.
You know, I'll tell you what. I say this all the time. I was in the worst prisons in the country, from USP Atlanta, right near Atlanta, right there. The big 40-foot walls going around the whole prison. That prison was the worst in the world at the time. It's still they just had a Senate hearing on that prison this year, and they said it was it's actually a threat not just to Atlanta, not to Georgia, to the Southeast United States Atlanta Penitentiary. Wow. But Rikers Island is a county jail. You got to remember, there's two differences. You have a prison and a jail.
Correct.
Jail holds inmates up to a year, or for pretrial, stuff.
Damn, that's a long time. God,
Oh yeah.
a year in that bitch.
Oh, listen, Rikers Island. I was on there. I was on what in C-74. It's called a JIT pod. Let me tell you something, man. You want to talk corrupt, violent, corrupt. You know what? It's just it. When I was there, it was real bad. There was 30,000 inmates when I was there. Now it's down. I don't know what it is, and they
That's a
need
lot.
30. You got lost. There's sad stories about that place. Kids never getting out. They had a young kid. He was in there for 3 years. Didn't know what the hell was going on. Didn't know. He couldn't get any. 3 years. This kid got out and killed himself. It's sad. And he don't belong.
I know what story you're talking about. I forgot his name. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and Jared, I'm a believer. Listen, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody does bad shit. Who gets caught? Who doesn't? I can go on and on. But when you get sentenced, you don't get sentenced to get killed. You don't get sentenced to be tortured like I was. You don't get sentenced, right? You get sentenced to lose your family and all the bad things that really actually matter when it comes down to it. But these places, there's such a fine line between a guard and an inmate. I mean, it really is. I have some guards that are friends of mine to this day. I have one that was in Jessup, Georgia, a Georgia prison.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He was the union president, and we're friends. He guarded me, and he comes on my show. And nice guy. I mean, he was one of the good guys we call. He didn't try to, make your time harder. He didn't do the things that he didn't degrade. I've seen guards like really talk like, hey, I'll go home, fuck your mother. I mean, I seen shit like that. You just telling that to a dude who's in prison, and it's just some of the sick shit you see. I've seen guys get boiling water with a Snicker bar and olive oil thrown in his face, and his face melted. And
oh my God.
I saw stabbings, and I've been stabbed twice. I stabbed people, and it's a survival place. There's no redeeming factors to it. People say, but you made it. Yeah, I made it despite that. I didn't make it because of that. I made it despite. Now, don't get me wrong. There are people in prison who belong in prison. I mean, I was with guys that I would never want to see them out because they'll kill you, kill me, they'll kill your mother. They don't give they're psychopaths.
Right.
But there's a lot of guys in there who are in for pot and stupid shit.
Stupid stuff, like a gram or something. I read stories where people's in there for like a nickel bag. They in there for a year for a judge just for a nickel bag.
You're right. Jared, I'm a believer in this. And I was a Democrat, I was a Republican, I'm a libertarian. And I'm a libertarian because I don't care what you do in your house or what drug you do, what sex you do. I don't give a fuck. Let everybody, as long as you're not hurting people, as long as you're not, hurting kids or anything like that.
Agreed.
Do what you want. Why should the government give a shit? Don't tell me we're free when they have so many laws you can't do something. But we're not as free as you think. Everybody thinks, oh, you're free.
But think about your situation, though. Think about it. When you got out, we were just talking about it. Think about how you had to adjust to life. You were just like, oh my God.
Vegetable, man. I really was. And it's, even to this day, as a felon, I can't own a gun. I can't even be in your car if you have a gun.
Really?
I go to prison. If you pick me up and say, hey, I'll pick you up, and you have a gun in your car, licensed or not, doesn't matter. It's under the seat of your car. You licensed it. It's good. Cop pulls us over. Says, get out of the car. We both get out of the car. Gets our IDs. Searches your car. Finds the gun under the seat. I go to prison for 10 years.
10 years?
10 years. That's called constructive possession of a firearm, which means it wasn't in a locked glove compartment, or it wasn't in the trunk, or it wasn't on you. If I can get to that gun without committing a crime, meaning like breaking into your glove compartment or robbing you or breaking the trunk or something, it's called a two-step process. If I can lean over and get to that gun, I am in constructive possession of that gun, and I go to prison for 10 years.
Is there anything else that's like that for you too, on the do's and the don'ts?
Well, that's when I first got out, I couldn't associate with 200 other mobster guys. I didn't know them. I only knew about 50 on this list. But if I got caught talking to any of those 200, I go to prison right away. Not anymore. I'm off paper or anything like that.
Okay.
I couldn't travel outside a certain geographical area without getting permit. Matter of fact, my father's dying. No, he had Alzheimer's. I told you we took care of him. My
Right.
son takes him up to New York. He's literally dying on his deathbed, and I had to go permission from my parole officer, and he says, "No, you can't go." I said, "Fuck you." I went anyway.
Oh, you went? Oh, wow.
I ended up having to go in front of a judge, and the judge, said, you're not, but I understand the circumstances. I knew he knew. Listen, this guy was just an asshole.
Right.
And, it's a shame because they sometimes they don't look at you like a human. I grew up in New York City, so we never had race issues. I grew up in the melting pot. If you lived on our block, Jared, you're in. If you didn't, you out. I could care if you were Martian. It
Right.
wasn't a black, white, Hispanic, Jewish. Didn't mean it. If you lived in our neighborhood, you were in. If you didn't, you were out.
Right.
And you come to other parts of the country now. And I only go this because you say the do's and don'ts. I'm still, I have a couple of good black friends of mine. I say to them, man, you don't even know what it's like. And they go, man, why you ain't black? You don't know about prejudice. I said, what? First of all, I was in Atlanta when it was only 15% white. Everybody else was Hispanic or black. I said, so I know about prejudice and I feel for you. I said, but you know the difference. You're never going to know what it's like to be white. And he goes, fuck it. You know. I go, yeah. And the assholes that I have to hear say shit to somebody because of something. Now, I can't stand prejudices, racism, in anything. Sex, drugs, anything. I mean, who the fuck does anybody believe that they're better than somebody else to judge them?
Right.
That really irks me. And I have to catch myself, Jared, now. I mean, I live my life now. I'm private. I do my things. But when I'm around people that I want to be around, they're people that are just good people that have fun. We could talk politics. You could talk sports. You could talk movies. You could talk gaming. You could talk stuff. And nobody's judging you no matter what you say because they know your heart is not, whether it's black, white, Spanish, like you said. And sadly, it's too many. It's still very serious. I live in Florida. I live in a place called Brevard County, Florida. It's probably one of the most racial areas. Put it this way, Trump came here and landed his plane, the first place he did after he got elected. So, and it's a really, there's good parts to it. I love the weather.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people here. I don't associate much around. I have a close group of friends.
I should mention friends, yeah.
Yeah, I take off. You know what I mean? Right. Atlanta is more of a melting pot. See, I liked Atlanta. My cousin lived in Marietta. I don't know if you know that.
I'm about 30 minutes away.
Yep, Marietta. And then obviously, I'm sure parts of Georgia are real bad too. I read about and I do videos on the jails in Atlanta, what they do in the people.
Yep, I see some of your videos when you talk about different jails. I don't know if you read that story about a year ago. And you already know
he got eaten by bugs.
Got bed bugs. Yep, got eaten in jail.
I did a whole video about that.
Yep, I saw the reel. I didn't see the whole video. I just saw the reel.
I did a whole video. Because I understand in jails the way they are and how this should never. And every one of these sheriffs and people, we're gonna fix it. Who the fuck you think that's going on that long and nobody picked up on that? Everybody in the whole place should be fired.
Right. Absolutely. Do you think like people that's in prison, would you describe it as like a dead man walking situation?
Depending on the prison, yeah. Especially, I was in Atlanta, USP Atlanta, when it was a penitentiary. We had 2,000 inmates. 880 had life.
880?
880.
Ooh.
Had life sentence. That means they put letters on your jacket. And you don't come up for parole. You don't do anything. Like, it used to be back in the day, if you did 25 years, you go up for parole if you had a life. No. Life in the federal system means letters. That means you dead. You're getting out of the prison when you're dead. So you would see guys, about 200 keep fighting their case legally. About 400, 500 literally get a lover. They live their life. They work the prison industry and they live whatever life they can. And then you got another 200 that are psychopaths, literally psychopaths, you know? And it's sad, man. So those prisons are dead men walking, you know, a lot of those. But then there's the littler prisons that are, you know, guys got 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. It's a lot, but it's not life, you know. I only had 12 years, 12-year sentences, and I felt like a short timer. You know what I mean? Like dudes are never getting out, man. You want to talk about that?
Right.
How do you live?
That's
you know?
crazy.
It always boggled my mind, Jared, the will for people to live. Like, I was in the hole for 3 years.
Ooh, what was that like?
11 straight months in the hole, man. I was ready to commit suicide. I talk about that a lot. And it was really, it's the worst thing you could do to a human being. Anyway, and how do these people on death row want to even have the will to live? You know, why? I don't know. I watch men commit suicide and tell you they're going to commit suicide and do it.
So you've seen it? So you've seen it with your naked eye, somebody commit suicide?
You know, my best friend, Jack Brown, he hung himself, man. I tried to stop him because we were talking to an event. I used to fuck with him. Here's this black kid. He's a man. We close because we worked out together. I was like, fuck. I'll send you some pictures. I was in good shape. And so he used to piss me off because on the yard, this dude would be able to eat ice creams and shit, and had a fucking 8-pack. I'll eat one ice cream, right, blow up, you know. So I'll send you pictures too, so you can use them. But he said to me one day, you know, we're in the hole. He's in the cell next to me. We could talk to each other like I'm talking to you.
Right.
And he says to me, he goes, I love you, brother. I'm checking out. I said, where the fuck you going, Jack? You know, because we used to do burpees, a workout routine through the vent, you know, talk to each other, up, down, and stuff. And boom, it dawned on me, you know, and every day at 4 o'clock count. So I end up jumping up on the toilet, you know, sink toilets, a silver, you know, a stainless steel combination thing, and the vents above that. So I jump up and I said, Jack, man, lay down, man, relax, man. Let's talk about after count. He didn't say anything. Well, come count time, you have to stand on your feet. It's called mandatory 4 o'clock stand up count everywhere, the whole prison. So a system, the whole system, not just a prison system. So they scream out, count time, count time. You get up, and then, you know what, if they pass, you fucking go back to whatever you're doing.
Right.
I get up, they go to his cell, and they stop. I hear him get on the radios, man down, open his, you know. And they took him out on a gurney. He hung himself. It's easy to hang yourself. You hang yourself off a locker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm about to say, how they do it? Do they do it with some bed sheets, or they?
Yeah. You know, people think you hang. You don't hang. You literally put something around your neck and you lay your body weight like down, and then your air cuts off in 30 seconds, and then you end up asphyxiating. You know, that's
it people don't know. It don't take long. It don't take long. It don't take long from your because your brain needs oxygen. So
absolutely.
So if your brain not getting oxygen, it could knock you out very quick.
Very quickly, Jared. And then what happens is you lay in there, and then eventually you die. You know, and and that's why I talked about Epstein. I think they killed him because easy to do. And I've seen that. Well, Jack did that, and it hurt me, man. I was laying in my bed crying. I remember that. And it was just a tough. That's still a lot of death and stuff. But, you know, when you get close to people, you know, you talk about your families, and you're working out together, and you're laughing, and you're making the best of a bad situation. You know your cases. He had a life sentence.
Right.
It was a drug case, you know.
Right.
I can't stand life sentence or any lengthy for any drug. I don't give a fuck what drug it is.
Right.
You know, listen, you're not Pablo Escobar here, you know, or and even I mean, the government's the biggest drug dealers in the world, and I can get into that fucking story.
Right.
But, and it hurts. It hurts.
I had a friend that died. It wasn't some of yours for jail wise, but I had a friend who I became close with. I used to work with him, and I talked to him 2 weeks before he died, and we was just talking. He was like, "Yeah, I just got this job, and I'm worried about my insurance because I think he took some antidepressant stuff, and I was young. I was probably 20, 25, 26, and he was like 34. And I talked to him. I was like, man, everything be good, man. You be straight. I was like his motivator for some reason. I was way younger, but I was like his motivator.
Yeah, something connected.
Right. And so it was one morning, a guy who we used to work with, called me. My phone was messed up that weekend. So I had to reset it, all type of shit. And I had a message. I was like, why is Mark leaving me this message? He left me this message and told me that he passed away. And our friend passed away. And he been knowing because he grew up with him. So when he told me he passed away, I was on my stairs at home and I'm just sitting there like, huh?
Yeah, that young guy.
Yeah, right. And then I was like, then I went to the wake. I met his mother. I saw his sister. Our friend wouldn't tell me really what happened to him. I found out later on, and me having that last visual of him just sitting there or laying there with a Carolina Panthers shirt and that coffin, it did not hit me good. It did not hit me good. It did not hit me good because I felt like something took it out of me. Because before that happened, I was talking to him about, hey man, I'm thinking about doing stand-up. He was like, man, go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
I was just talking to him about it. And so my motivation when I would do a stand-up, I was like, damn, Mike won't be able to see me do stand-up, but I'm sure he'll be able to see me now, you know, and that's why I kind of, and because I remember he was one of the first persons that I told about that. And man, his death hit me like a ton of bricks, 34 years old.
You know, I look at when young people die like that, and I really, young people, it just, you know, obviously, you know, people die. You can't escape death. You know, I'm at that age now. Listen, things happen, you know.
He overdosed though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think he killed himself. You know, I don't like when people actually classify a dude for suicide when they overdose. He could have had a bad day, just took too much, and he overdosed. I mean, you know.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I feel for him. I mean, it's just, it can happen with alcohol. It's a guy who drinks a few drinks and then gets in a car accident. It's the same thing. You don't say, oh, he killed himself. You know,
absolutely.
He did something and he ended up dying, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just young people, just because, you know, here's another thing I talk about all the time on the circuit when I go speaking is young people your age, like they'll say, oh man, I tried it. I can't make it. Life sucks. I literally say to the guy, I said, listen to me, yo. I says, I got out of prison at 46 years old, penniless, a fucking ex-felon, bad, you know, Gambino crime member, the whole works. And I made it. If I can do it in debt at 46, don't you tell me you can't do it, man. Because it's just you quitting. And they look at me and I go, listen, call it like it is. Don't be a quitter, man. No, what it is, you might not even know what you want to do yet at 30 fucking 5. Mm-hmm. You might, people switch careers and become trillionaires or whatever the fuck it is. People just don't get that. You don't have to, you know, society has put into young people, oh, get your career at 18, 19 years, go this, you do this. Fuck them.
I had this conversation like a day ago. I said, no, I think the school system forces us to be like, go to college, get a good job. And I felt like my generation, and I'm not speaking, and I don't mean that the bad to other generations, but I felt like my generation got lied to because that's what they pushed on us, right? They pushed that on us. And then now, and now we sit here with $200,000 in debt with a degree where they laying off people. Or then AI came and took over. Or then it's just like,
man, you are so right.
And now it's almost like you got to think of a passion or a hustle that you like to be able to try to make it work. Even I was thinking about some shit you told me when we met. When you told me, Jared, no excuses, you gotta stay consistent. And I took that shit. I took it. I said, you're right. I said, you're right. And guess what? I didn't argue with you. I said, you're right.
You know, Jared, as you know, especially this career, YouTube and podcasting, it's in its infancy still. Things are, and if you like it, you like people, you're a communicator, and you do, then you stick with it. I tell a guy, I was telling the kid with the lawn service, AI is not going to fix that. It's going to, you know, a plumber, a mechanic. Those guys will work their weight in gold. Really.
And guess what? That shit that teachers didn't tell us in school.
No, exactly. Oh, go to college.
And some of my teachers right now are some of my close friends right now. And I give them shit all the time.
Good. Because I do that. I love teachers. I think we need to teach these young people communication skills. Obviously, comprehension reading, basic math. Who the fuck? If you're not going to be into some science and you don't need fucking geometry and all this, that's a fucking waste of. I was just wasted of time. Oh, go to college. You need that. I got a degree, and I go, I don't even use this fucking shit. Right. I mean, I didn't pay. I was smart enough to do it. Right. And I look back and I said, man, some of these kids, the kids I hire and stuff, you love this shit. You love computers. You love gaming. One of my biggest videos is me reviewing a GTA game, 7.8 million. I don't know what number it's at. Right. I got videos 11 million. Me reviewing stuff, and I go, it has zero to do with college. The guys who taught me shit are kids that know it on the back end, and just because they love what they do. I remember my generation lied to your generation. That's very true. And
I hate really saying that, but it's
it's not lie. I think a lot of them didn't know. I never did that. I always said, do what the fuck you want. And I even tell people to this day, I don't care how old you think you are and you think it's over. Go do what you want, because life is too short to do shit you don't want to do. Before you know it, you're done, and you can't do it. You're physically not able and all this. I said, what happens is with young people is they're told, like you said, school, go here, go there. Oh, you need this degree. You don't. Some of the smartest people in the world quit college.
I feel like the world is just changing. It's changing to where you're like, instead of putting all that effort in us going to college, why y'all didn't put effort in? Like, look, you could be a plumber, and after 6 months you get a certificate. You can make $100,000 a year.
Oh, minimum. You kidding me?
Yeah, or you could do Megatronics. You could get into Megatronics after a year in school for Megatronics, come out, make $200,000 a year. Like, nobody told us that.
And even that, if you like it, the money's gonna come. Don't do it just for that money. I have a big RV. Do you know how much you can't find anybody to fix certain shit? A couple of guys said we should open something. That's just, we don't care about the price.
Right.
If they're good workers, they're reliable and shit, and it would be perfect. And that's the key, Jared. But what happens doesn't work that way. People, I got to do it. And then, of course, you're right. They get in debt in schools and stuff. Listen, and you know what I tell them about that? Don't worry about it. It's going to work out. It's going to work out, man.
I'm in school debt right now.
And I said, fuck them, and it'll work out, and I look at people and I said, people stress over the wrong things in life. They really, I don't believe George Burns said it best. They go, why do you live to 100? He goes, no stress. He goes, what do you mean? He goes, if it's something I could take care of, I changed it and fixed it. If I couldn't, why stress about it? I couldn't fix it. And it's so simple. But when you think about it, I got to do it. No, you don't.
That's so simple.
I learned that in prison, Jared. I learned in prison that you know what you need to live. I went from being a multimillionaire. They took $6 million from me.
Oh,
yeah, to nothing. And then I look, I go, I was in prison, and I go, I have air. I had food.
Well, I mean, you're right. You do get those 3 square meals, though.
Nah, it's shit.
I know.
My point though was we, today I don't give a fuck. I live the way I do.
Right.
I take my mom. It's a small 1,600, 1,700 square foot house.
Right.
And I put a whole studio in the garage, and I'm happy as fuck. I do my thing. I go away on the weekends, and I don't care. I don't have that yearning for going on these mega trips. I travel, I do a lot, and I think young people like you, kid Nick, you met, works for me, and he wants to walk the it's called the Continental, from Mexico to Canada.
Right.
And I said, do it. Take off. We'll figure it out. You go on a road. You know what I mean? I'll meet you in an RV spot, and if you got to do it, just fucking do it.
Do it. Right.
Because you're not going to get a chance someday, you know what I mean? And
we live one time.
Man, remember that. If
we don't get mulligans like you did on that golf course today, buddy.
You're right about that. I didn't
You're right. You take mulligans, yeah. All right, man. I'm gonna ask you one more thing. I'm gonna get you out of here, man. Tell me about your books you got coming up, man.
Well, I have my Gangster Redemption book bestseller. It's coming out new at the beginning of the year. because I added 3 more chapters because the book came out in 2013.
Okay.
Bestseller. And now we're adding from 2013 to 223 now, the last 10 years.
Okay.
And the book, I mean, how I started my YouTube career, how I started, how I was the Casey Anthony expert on TV, how I was on TV for the last 10 years.
I saw that video too.
So all of that stuff we're talking about, how I developed the program I did and everything else. And that's coming out. And I have a cookbook. It's actually late. It should have been out, but it'll be finalized. We just had a meeting. That's what the meeting was tonight.
Well, you know what? I need that cookbook. I'm trying to be a better cook as I get older, if that's the thing. So,
well, I don't know about better cook with me. This is prison food, Dad.
Oh, hell no, man. No, sir. Ain't nobody trying to drink that nasty ass toilet bowl wine y'all got in that shit.
It worked. It worked.
Man, y'all, man, your inside's probably shit. No way, sir.
Oh,
no way.
Funny. But Jared,
no way. No,
it's a book of stories. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And the food we cooked. But so I stay very busy, and love it. I hope to see you again. Wherever.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you keep doing stuff, man. I got to talk to you. You're a good dude. Text me, go shoot me, come on my show one day. I'll have you on my show.
Most definitely. Definitely.
And I love to see young people that have drive and no complaint. You don't complain. You're not a bitcher. Listen, you get people, get away from me. I can't stand negativity. Mm-hmm. It brings you down, man.
Right.
Be around positive people. You're positive. You're try new things, bounce them off older cats like myself, and say, and guys like me tells it like it is. So yeah, it's a good idea. Maybe I don't know. It's your shot. I'm an old fuck. You know what I mean?
Right.
My days is always gonna be not what it is. It's how much you like it. Mm-hmm. How much, do you go to bed at night still thinking about it?
Right.
Those are the things. Those shits are so important. Mm-hmm. And when you do, you find out you love it. It's not even a job. I'll go to bed. I'll think about content. I can be on vacation. Oh, that'd make a good video or whatever. Mm-hmm. And you find out, man, it's not work. It's a passion.
Right.
And you'll make money from it. But
Absolutely.
I appreciate having you on.
Larry, man, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you coming on here, man, giving me your time, man. And I ain't gonna lie, man. This was one, after seeing your video so much, this was one I would have never thought would have happened. I swear to God. This is what I would have never thought happened.
I'm glad it did.
This is what I would have never thought happened out of a million years, man.
I'm glad it did. I really
absolutely, brother. But I appreciate
a lot of shows. You take care, man, and keep, like I said, man, keep moving forward. Don't quit.
I got you, brother. I sure will, man. Larry Lawton was sounding off, brother.
All right, take care, man. Jared, yeah, man. And let me know when it airs, and I'll post it on my platforms.
I got you, brother.
You got it, kiddo. Take care.
All right.